Hi guys, it's Nandi. Welcome back to Vibrant Authentic Living. So today I want to talk about water. Yeah, water. Where do you get your water from? The water that you drink. Water makes up most of your body. Where do you get the water from that you drink? This is something that water has been something that I've always been concerned about. Always been, trying to get everybody wants to get the purest, freshest. But I don't know if everybody, but certainly, those who are on the natural, the natural path, the valiant living, vibrant, authentic living towards longevity, energy, and youthfulness. Persons who are on that path will be concerned about water because water makes up most of your body, and the quality of the water that you take into your body will certainly have an impact on the kind of body that you maintain, the quality of your life. So ever since I came into consciousness of healthy living, I've always been concerned about the quality of my water. Now, let me take you back to growing up, where I grew up. I've always been happy with the fact that I grew up in a place. I grew up in Red Hills in St. Andrew, Jamaica. This place was like just close enough to town, but still had that country vibe. And I was very happy to be able to have benefited from both worlds, If you needed to get to town, it took you, like if there was no hassle with the bus, because where I live there was a big bus crisis situation. But let's say you were driving your own vehicle, it took you like 10-15 minutes, 20 minutes the most, to get off the hill down into the town. But where I lived, so you went to the square and then we went down into the valley called Pecan Valley. That's where I live, the part of Red Hills that I live. Lush trees, just beautiful, gorgeous dirt. The whole yard was just this big expanse of dirt. And every fruit tree imaginable. Now our water, we got our water from the community standpipe. Actually, right behind, couple houses down further into the valley, there was this huge reservoir where the water commission maintained this reservoir. I think that's where our water came from. And sometimes you would go there, and as children you would go and fool around, climb up, follow the boys and climb up and stuff. Right, but there was this huge reservoir there, and our community standpipe served Pecan Valley, the residents of Pecan Valley. So pretty much, I don't remember if anybody had, maybe just a couple of houses had running water in the house. So our latrine was outside the house, bathroom was outside, so you had to get water in a bucket to bathe from in the bathroom, which was away from the house. Right, so whenever you're ready to bathe, you go to the standpipe. So the standpipe was in the middle of Pecan Valley. You'd get your pan or your bucket, you go to the standpipe, catch your water and take it and you go bathe. Or you took water from we had some huge drums, so it was basically the boys' duty, my uncles mainly, and my grandmother would do it. My grandmother, my uncles, my grandpa, it was their kind of job to fill the buckets, fill the drum. So they would have to go make several trips. But our house was like just across from the standpipe. The gate was like right, adjacent to the standpipe. So you just fill the bucket, carry it, fill up the drums, and then you could have access to that. Or you go with your own pan and you catch your water for bathing and so on. And that's what we drank too. So we'd have this white kegs. I remember the white kegs that salt mackerel used to come in, or the ice cream huge kegs, and you would get those kegs and use it for carrying water. And we'd have that stored in the kitchen, so whenever you want water to drink, you'd go, you get your cup, you drink, you dip and you get some water. Or you would put bottles in the fridge with water. Alright, so that's how we got our drinking water. Whenever there was a drought or anything, we'd have to we'd have to wait till the water truck would come around, and then everybody would gather. You see the water truck coming, you have to carry a bucket and join the line and ray. So there was no running water in the house where I grew up. A couple neighbors had. I don't know what connection, how that happened, but they had. Alright, so yeah, that's how I grew up. And I used to notice, like whenever I would visit somewhere else, like I would go to the country, like in St. Elizabeth, where my grandmother is from, they would have wells. And I remember as a child, I was so picky. I didn't like going to St. Elizabeth because I saw them drinking from the well, and the well was just this open thing, and I was saying, but anything can fall into the well, I don't want to drink that water. And I had a hard time drinking tea or eating it. Sometimes I got some cussing to eat the food that was prepared, because I was saying, but the well, look, it's open. And I didn't know, at the time, and say, well, the sunlight is purifying the water, and there's drainage taking place, and the stones are filtering and all kind of. So I didn't know any of that. I just saw the thing open, and anything can fall in it, and I don't want to drink it. Same with the drums we had back home. Sometimes we would keep the drums for other purposes, like you can get water to bathe or do other little things, wash, stuff like that, if you don't want to go to the standpipe all the time. And sometimes, if we didn't cover the drums properly, you'd see the mosquito larvae in it. And I was just so scornful. I didn't want to use it, because I was saying worms are in the water. That's what I call them. The mosquito larvae. I say worms in the water. I don't want to touch that water. But anyway, I noticed that whenever I went somewhere else, the water tasted different. Like wherever I went, that water tasted different from my water. So it would like taste saltier, or just had a different taste, right? So that was something I noticed, as a child. To say that different water from different places were different. It's not just one water and one taste. All the different waters were different. Alright, so at our standpipe, you would have a couple of persons, break the rule, and they would go to the actual standpipe, and they want to brush their teeth at the standpipe, wash their hair at the standpipe, actually bring the tubs of clothes and wash it at the standpipe. But pretty much that those were the exceptions. Most persons just caught their water, took it inside. I noticed when I used to go to the country, like to St. Mary, other sections of rural St. Andrew, you would see persons living by the river, and they would be washing the clothes in the river, and then you'd get to understand that they also drank the river water, that kind of thing. I used to romanticize that kind of living. I still do, romanticize the country living, the river living, close to the river, and you wash at the river and so on. I never had that experience. I didn't live near a river, but whenever I visited, like my relatives in the country, and you would see them, and we'd go to the river, and catch janga and, you know, swim in the river and so on. I romanticize that kind of living. All right, so that's water growing up. And I noticed some country people too, they drink rainwater. I also was romanticizing rain. I was saying, you know, this would be just the best thing to have. You know, the rain is falling and you catch the rainwater and you just have access to that to drink. I think that would just be the coolest thing. But then you hear, you know, people said no, it's not safe, and you know, the atmosphere is polluted, and you know, don't do that. And I remember when I started living on my own, for a little while I used to catch rainwater and drink it. It has a sweet taste. To me, it tasted just so sweet and fresh. The thing with rainwater though, you know, like when you leave your clothes on the line and the rain catch it on the line, you know, we in the Caribbean, the sun dries our clothes. We don't need to use the dryer. We have brilliant sunshine, and sometimes you leave your clothes out and the rain catch it, and it would have a smell, and most persons find the smell offensive. You know, they would actually wash over the clothes. For me, I like the smell, and I always say, well, people who live in the country, they use rainwater to wash their clothes, so what's the big deal? You know, why you feel like you need to wash over the clothes if rainwater catch the clothes? I could never see the logic of that. But I always, you know, romanticize, because you'd go to the country and you see people catching water from the roof, you know, the rain falling, and that's how they get their water up in the hills in the country. You know, the rain fall and they have the catchment, they have the drums right under the roof, and the water run off. And I've seen persons just hold out the cup and catch water and drink it, and I always said that's so cool, you know, to be able to do that. And I'm sure it adds to their health and their well-being, because just as how you could water the plants day in day out with the tap water, and they're not thriving, and they get a couple days of rain and just boof, is like magic is in the rain. So why would we be told, you know, don't drink the rainwater? I understand the pollution in the city, yes, but still, I don't know. I think I would prefer to drink rainwater than the tap water. No matter what the atmosphere is like, I think I would more take my chances with the rainwater than the tap water. Yeah, so I made some notes, so let me check what I have. So alright, so when I came, I live in Portmore now. This is where I am now. I've been here for 26 years. This house that I'm at now, I've been here 26 years. When I just came here, so I lived on my own here, and this is the first time I started seeing actual sediments coming out of the tap water. There were these black sediments. Some were huge, some were just granular, and they would settle. So like you would catch them, you would catch water to put up for a drink, and you would see the residue settle, and it's black at the bottom. And I would always, and persons were complaining, and I think I remember being told by the authorities, I think I remember seeing an article that it's safe, you know, it's manganese. I think that's what they said. It's manganese, and it's as a result of the old pipes, you know, eroding, and that residue is coming out, but it's not going to do anything. If my memory serves me right, I remember seeing an article like that, or heard some officials saying that, right? And it still happens from time to time. You know, you would wash your clothes in the washing machine, they come out with this residue, on this black residue. Or you have like your lighter colored clothes, you actually would have to wash them over. and hope that the residue isn't still in the in the pipes, because if it is, it's just the same thing all over again, right? And even if you make it settle and then you pour that off, I'm sure, you know, you're taking that inside, you're taking that into your body. So right now, whenever I can avoid it, I don't use the tap water for drinking purposes. Whenever I can avoid it. Sometimes, you know, like you it's sometimes you have to use it. The situation is that you have to use it sometimes. So I have this bottle here to show you. So this is the water that I drink. So it's Catherine's Peak pure spring water from the Blue Mountains. I don't generally trust bottled water any more than I trust tap water, because I'm not there to see them bottling it. I just take it for granted. So, but this one, this is the one that I would say I put my trust in, because, and this is not an endorsement, I'm just telling you what I drink, right? So I've been to, well, the Blue Mountain watershed is where our country, where Jamaica, Blue Mountain is our highest mountain range, and that section of the island between Portland, St. Andrew, St. Thomas gets most of the rainfall because of the hilly terrain, right? And they get rain almost every day in some places. I've been to the foothills of the Blue Mountains up to Hollywell, you know, and it's just so pristine, just so gorgeous. And I think if I want to take a bet on the purest water from this island here, this is the one I would go with. And I feel, not that I'm swearing by it, because I am not at the source to see them bottling it, but this is the only water that I buy, only bottled water that I drink right now, right? So I try my best to get it. When I can't, I use the tap water, because I'm not going to be paranoid and stress myself out. You know, you just have to do what you can do. Do what you can do at any given moment. Don't stress yourself out if you can't get the quality stuff that you need or you feel like you should get. Don't stress yourself out. Just do the best that you can. Do the best that you can, right? For as long as you can maintain it, you maintain it, and do the next best. I used to buy filter systems, like used to have these filters, the charcoal filters and so on. But what I find is that they don't go fast enough, and they don't have enough to maintain my household. You get what I'm saying? So if I had a big enough filter for the tap water, I would use a charcoal filter, yes. But the ones that I have seen, they just didn't have enough quantity coming out fast. My household use water very, very fast, right? When you think about the fact that, you know, most of us still depend a lot on tap water, on potable water, and when you think about the fact that, hey, it is very possible, if the powers that be wanted to contaminate the entire water system, what would be there to stop them? What would be there to stop them? You know, it's a terrifying feeling. And you know that we have seen where in some places the entire community is affected. For example, in Flint, right? In Flint, a couple years back, and it's still, the problem persists. The problem has not been rectified. The entire town was affected by this heavily polluted water coming through the tap. And it would be such an easy thing to do. Let's say someone nefarious had that intention. It would be so easy to poison an entire water system, you know. So like I said, we can't be paranoid. We just have to do the best that we can at any given moment. Do the best that you can. And when you can't do the best that you would want to do, just go with it, flow with it, and keep a positive attitude. Just keep living a vibrant, authentic life to the best of your ability. So this is Nandi signing out. So we're talking today about water. Alright guys, so I'll catch you next time. Nandi here. Bye bye.